Hi everybody, today I'm going to take you through the steps of creating your own text portrait design. So you can see on my screen here, I have the instructions that you can use to follow along with, and these two examples. So a photo of John Lennon with a quote here, and another photo here with a quote. So we're going to do something like this. You can choose whichever sort of celebrity or person that you would like to use for your portrait photo, and any kind of quote that you think sort of goes along with that image. So take a minute to have it grab a photo and a quote that you would like to use for this. And make sure that the photo is sort of straight on the person's face. Okay, so not at an angle, not sort of a side. Make sure that the person's not looking down or looking up. You want a photo where they're sort of looking straight on at the camera. Okay, and so I'm going to open up Photopea now, and I am going to open up the photo that I chose, which is of Maya Angelou, who's a famous American poet, author, and civil rights activist. So I'm going to open that up. Okay, and I don't need transform controls on. I can zoom in a little bit to see. Oops, that's too much. Okay. Good. So the first thing I'm going to need to do for this, like many of our other assignments, is to get rid of the background. Luckily in this photo, there isn't too much background that exists. So I'm going to use my magic wand tool, and hopefully this will work fine, and I can just delete. Make sure that you're clicking if you're on a laptop, that you're using the delete key, not the backspace key. It won't work, but if you are on a Chromebook, then you can use the backspace key. Okay, so that did a pretty decent job, but I can see that there are still a few areas that I need to touch up. And so I can use the eraser tool to do that. I'm just going to zoom in and open my eraser behind my brush tool. And I've still selected on with the magic wand tool, so I'm going to click deselect, and then that will allow me to use the eraser tool. Okay. It's not a super high quality image, so I encourage you to use a stock photo site where the photos will be more high quality and less pixelated. And what I mean by pixelated is you can kind of see the little squares, right, that make up this image. And it's better if you have an image that's more high quality where you won't see those squares as much. Okay. Now the photo that I chose is already in sort of black and white, but I'm going to show you how to do that, because if you choose a photo that's not in black and white, this is what you're going to want to do. So you're going to click Image, Adjustments, and then you're going to choose black and white. Click on that. You can adjust these settings if you want to, but the default should do the job. So I'm going to click OK, and then it will edit your photo to be black and white, which you can see didn't make a big difference for me, but certainly will for yours if you have a color photo that you're using. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer. So that's a sticky note button at the bottom. And I'm going to use the paint bucket tool, which is hidden behind the gradient tool. So you right click on it and select the paint bucket. And then I'm going to make my background black. So I'm going to select that from the square at the bottom in the left-hand toolbar. And I'm going to click, yep, I did that right. I clicked on my new layer to make my new layer fully black. But what I'm going to do now is put my background layer behind my photograph. So I just need to drag it underneath the photo in the Layers tab on the side. And there we go. So now I have my photo with a plain black background. And now I need to create another new layer so that I can cover over half of my photo. So I'm going to create another new layer by clicking on the sticky note, but this time I want this layer on top of my portrait photo. And I'm going to use the rectangle select tool. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see the full photo this way. Perfect. And I'm going to select the half of the photo that I want to cover over with black. So it's up to you to choose which side of the photo you think would be better to be covered. So I'm going to choose this side, and I'm going to cover over. You can use these numbers, or you can use the ruler tool to help you. So if you click View Rulers, there will be rulers placed here, and you can use those as sort of a framework to see what the half of your image is. But I'm going to use her nose as sort of my guide. So I want to try to center the halfway point line in the middle of her nose, which looks about to be there. Okay, so now I have this rectangle select on my new layer. And I'm going to use the paint bucket tool again, which is already set to black. And I'm going to click on the inside of my rectangle select. And now I've created this black rectangle over half of my image. And I'm going to go up to my top toolbar and select deselect so that those little marching ants around the outside of the rectangle are gone. So that's perfect. Now I need to add my quote. So I'm going to select the type tool or the text tool from my left-hand toolbar. Here we go. And you don't need to make a new layer this time because the typing or the text tool will create a new layer automatically for you. And as soon as you click on your canvas, you can start to type. So my quote is I'm going to actually make it all capital letters as well because that will make the letters take up more space. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Okay, so that's quite long. You can choose whatever length you feel comfortable with. And now I'm going to turn this text. So back, I need to be in the text tool to make this happen. So I'm going to select the text and I'm going to turn the color white so that I'm able to see it. This doesn't really matter, but I want to be able to adjust the settings. So I need to be able to see it on the black rectangle. Okay, so I can see that I'm going to need to put this word down and this word down as well so that they will all fit. I don't think I turned it all white. How you do. Okay. And so I'm going to select this again, and I'm going to choose a different font. So I want to choose a font that has more space so that the lines are thicker. One that I like to use for this kind of thing is called Bangers. I don't know. It's a little bit too cartoony, I think, for this purpose. I'm also going to change the alignment of my text because I want it to be aligned with this middle line here. Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm happy with this font. Okay, I like that one better. Let's see, sometimes there's a bold option. Is there? It didn't make much of a difference, but okay. So I'm going to hide this for a second because now you can see what it is that you'll see behind when we cut through the black rectangle. So it's not bad, okay. But I want to reduce the space in between. So the line height is a little bit too big for me. So I'm going to click on, what do I need to click on? window, and then character. And then I'm going to, okay, so I'm in Windows, character, and I'm going to click from the character to the paragraph. And I'm going to select my text. So again, making sure that I'm in the text tool, I'm going to select the text, and I'm going to reduce this number into the negative so that I'm bringing my text closer together. Okay, I think that's good. And I can close this. Yeah. Okay. And again, I'm going to look and see what that will look like with my image. So I think I'm going to add another space in between the how and the you. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to turn this back on. Move this a tab over. Okay. Okay, so the next step is you are going to hold the Control key on your keyboard, and you're going to click on this T. So not the key, not the T key on your keyboard, but you're going to click on the T in your text layer. So click right here. And now you'll see that there's the dancing ants around the outside of your text, okay? So I'm going to zoom out again. But now I need to switch the layer. So I no longer want to be on my text layer. I'm going to click on my rectangle, my black rectangle layer, and I'm going to click the delete key. Okay, again, if you're on a computer or a laptop, you're clicking the delete key. If you're on a Chromebook, you're clicking the backspace key. There isn't a delete key. Now, this is pretty non-exciting. Nothing really happened, except that when we now hide our text layer, so I'm going to click on the eye and hide it, now you can see that we have cut a hole through our black rectangle to the photo that's behind it, just in these areas where we have created our text. So now I'm going to click in the top toolbar, select and deselect so that those little marching ants go away. And we can see that this effect a little bit more clearly. It looks good. My only problem now is that you can see that this area at the top where her hair is a little bit too dark. It's a little bit hard to read the letters. So no worries, we have a solution for that. We're going to use the Dodge tool. So you can find the Dodge tool in your left-hand toolbar. It looks like a magnifying glass. You're going to click on that. And you're going to click on your photo layer. So we're editing our photo, and we can actually edit our photo below this, below our black rectangle. So we're going to click and hold and drag around this Dodge tool. And you can see that it's still maintaining the texture of her hair, but it's just lightening it up a little bit so that we're able to see the letters more clearly. Okay, and we can do that over the whole thing if we want to. Okay, looks good. Now you'll see if I close this off, it looks a little bit silly now. It's sort of distorted my photo, but that's okay because we're not going to be looking at this photo on its own. We're always looking at it like this, and we can see that the effect is more clear now. But I still have one issue, which is that my Y is a little bit cut off, and so is my L, and that's because the text has gone over where my photo is. So now it's just showing the black background that I'm seeing here. So if we turn that off now, you can see that the Y's and the L with the transparent background. So the way that we can fix that is we're still going to use the Dodge tool, but we're going to change the range setting to shadow. And we're going to select the black background layer. And now we're going to create a shadow, which sort of looks like smoke almost, where we have the letters that we can't see. So I'm just going to draw over the Y's and the L. And so now I've made those letters visible. Okay, and again, it looks kind of silly if we uncover. We've just sort of created these little smoke bubbles in the background, but overall it's contributing to an effective design. So I'm going to zoom out and look at it. I'm pretty happy with the way that this looks. So I'm going to click File, I'm going to click Export and PNG, and I'm going to save this image onto my Google Drive and turn it into the Google Classroom. Thank you.